Hi, I'm Mr. Franklin. It's been 4 weeks of distance learning here in our physics class, and one of the things I want to start doing a little differently is I've been posting updates in the stream, and based on questions and things that I keep getting, I'm realizing that a lot of you are having trouble finding anything in the stream, so I'm going to try to post at least major updates in a video at the beginning of each week, and we'll see how it goes. So this update is for week 5. From May 11th to May 17th, and we're going to cover quite a few things. So some of the things we're going to look at is we're going to look at grades. I just turned in progress reports for week 1, 2, and 3. We're going to talk about those for a little bit and what that means for the next 3 weeks as we get through week 5, 6, and 7. I want to talk about our quizzes and how those are going and what I'm seeing on my end, and what's happening and what's not happening, which might make a difference for you and your grade. Then we're going to look at, there's 2 number 2s. Then we're going to look at the syllabus. Week 1, I posted the syllabus with all the assignments that's current up until right now. But it also has week 6 and week 7. So no assignment should be a surprise. It's in the syllabus. You can actually go and watch some of the videos and get ahead if you need to. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to talk about a change to the final exam and what that means for you. It's actually going to be really good news for you. I've announced it before, but now it's closed, and so you're more interested in this, so it'll be important for you to hear. Then we're going to talk about electricity unit, because that is the unit we started last week. We finished energy, and we're going to be talking about electricity over the next 3 weeks. And then I'm going to talk specifically about this week. So let's jump into it. So grades. Progress reports have been submitted. So some of you have still been turning in late work. I will update that eventually. But I have to wait until the computer system sorts itself out, and then I will put in those updated grades. The marks on the report will be CR, which means for credit, or NM, which means no mark. These are meant to give you an idea of where you stand in the course based on all the assignments you've turned in as well as your overall grade. One of the things you're going to notice is that there are some of you that have a grade below 70% that have gotten credit on your report card. Part of that is because you have been turning in assignments and you have emailed me and you have been communicating with me the issues that you're working through, and you've been working to bring that grade up as high as you can, and you've been showing that you have been doing the work and deserve credit. There are others of you that have no mark because you're below 70%, and part of that's because I've seen no video notes turned in, nothing's being turned in. Some of you may have received no mark, and it's because you started strong, you did week 1 stuff, but then you haven't done week 2 or 3's stuff. So make sure that you jump in there, get stuff done, get it turned in, so that I can take a look at what you're doing and what you're learning. Progress reports is just a check in the middle of the term. So now we're working towards what's the final grade going to be. So the final determination of credit or no credit is going to be based on your overall percentage, 70% or greater, as stated in the syllabus. It's also going to be based on how much of the work you've completed and turned in. There are some of you that have, like I said earlier, have a 65%, but you've turned in everything, you've taken the quiz multiple times, you've been working with me, I've given you help and some feedback on stuff, and I have enough evidence that says this person deserves credit. There are quite a few of you that have not been communicating with me that are below 70% that have received a no mark for your progress report. And that's because I have no evidence that you've been taking a shot at learning. And you may have. I'm hoping, and I believe that there are several of you that have been working your rear end off. You've got a lot of it done. You just have had issues turning stuff in, but you haven't emailed me and told me what's going on. So please do that so that I can help you out. With that said, the last day for any work to be turned in is May 31st, no exceptions. Here we are starting week 5, and I am still accepting week 1's work. And part of that's just because none of us have ever done the distance learning stuff before, and it's very tough to figure out and learn how to do for you as well as for me. And I've been very generous about letting you turn things in, especially if you email me and tell me what's going on and tell me how you're going to do it, or ask me, Mr. Franklin, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? I've been able to help most of you. But I can't take anything after May 31st, okay? So I'm very flexible about turning things in and deadlines and all that stuff, but this is, there is going to be no exception to the May 31st deadline, okay? So make sure that you're making a plan for yourself. We're going to look at the syllabus, and I'm going to show you. You can see how much you have to get done by May 31st. So if you're behind and you get a spot where you can even maybe catch up or even get ahead, you can do that. Quizzes. One of the interesting things is the practice quizzes have been unlimited attempts. And there's only been a couple of you that have done them more than once. Most people do them maybe once or twice, but most of you are only doing it one time. And then you get a 40%. And then I get an email 2 weeks later saying, can I redo the quiz? And I'm like, well, you had as many times as you wanted to take it over. Now, I understand that sitting down and taking the quiz once takes some time. But I would also make sure that as you're going through, you're taking your time and marking, you know what, I really don't understand how this works, so that you can ask me a question, especially on the practice quizzes. That's what they're there for. They're there for practice. There are a couple of you that have turned in a quiz and they're 0%. Now, I have been playing the quizzes myself just to make sure that I'm not messing something up. And I think that's because you go in to access the quiz and then something happens and you never come back to it, but you never come back to it. So it's sitting at 0%. So make sure that you are getting through those quizzes as best you can, and email me if you're having problems. The summary quizzes, which are different than the practice, they're supposed to be a test. They're supposed to be a serious quiz to figure out, do you know this stuff? I've been very generous about how many attempts you're allowed to do. When we started the year, or started the distance learning, we at first said we were only going to allow you one attempt. And we have learned as a physics department, all the physics teachers, that because of technical issues, we can't do that. So I am giving you 4 attempts, but it's still ironic to me that I'm giving you 4 attempts and many of you are only doing it once and not even trying it again, especially if your score is really low. I understand if your score is above 70%, you might want to move on. I understand that, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. But there are some of you with the 23% who have not even tried to do it again, who have not tried to ask me a question, Mr. Franklin, I don't understand why, blah, blah, blah. And then we can talk about it, and then you can go back and try the quiz again. The few students who have done that have been able to advance their grade and make it much better. Last thing on this, do not message me in classroom, because I will see it eventually, but it may take me a week. If you email me, I will see it within about 5 minutes to 12 hours. Generally within 12 to 24 hours, I will get back to you. But if you put it in Google Classroom, I don't always get the notification, and I've got tons of notifications I'm dealing with, so I just may miss it. So if you have a serious issue that you need me to address, you need to email me. Okay. So let's talk about the syllabus real quickly. All of the assignments have been in the syllabus since the beginning of class. Nothing has been changed. The only changes have been how many attempts you've gotten, but the actual nature of the assignment and the content has not changed. If you look in the syllabus, it even has, if you look in the syllabus down here, it even suggests what day you should, if you're having trouble scheduling for yourself, it suggests what day you should do that work. I've just been posting everything at the beginning of the week, because that way you know what you have to do. And because of the way the classroom is set up, at least for me, it would be hard for me to go through and put in every single day. And because that doesn't work for everybody either. Okay? But you can look in the syllabus and it will show you everything that we've done. So if you go back and look, week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way down to week 7, it's in there. Okay? Except for the quizzes, the practice quiz and the summary quiz, everything is on the Steel Canyon website. And it's been there since, last year. So you can access nearly all of the material, except for a couple of the packet pages and the quiz. Okay? So please take a look at that. See what's coming up over the next 3 weeks. I did go ahead and post week 6 already. For those of you that want to start getting ahead a little bit, you may do so. Just know that I won't post the quiz for week 6 until next week. Okay. One update to the final exam, or to the syllabus though, is there will be no final exam. So celebrate that, okay? June 1st in the syllabus it says there will be a final exam. There is no final exam. Now, on week 7, there will be a unit exam for electricity and magnetism that covers all the electricity and magnetism stuff that we're doing, just like the electricity test that we just took over week 4. So there will be no final exam. There will just be a unit exam for electricity and magnetism, and it'll be just like what we've been doing.